Click the first link in the description for the best Askreddit content. My 27M fiancé, 24F, has accidentally lost/broken 3 engagement rings now. I'm starting to suspect she's doing it on purpose. I've, 27M, been with my fiancé/girlfriend, 24F, for 3 years now. I proposed a year ago, but it definitely wasn't out of the blue. She'd been not so subtly hinting at getting engaged for months at that point. Although we're both somewhat hot-headed, we generally have a good relationship and we occasionally only fight about small, normal things. I know nothing about jewelry, but I spent a lot of time looking for the right ring to propose with. I talked to 2 of her closest friends to get their input, and in the end I spent around $4,000 on the ring. When my fiancé saw it, she told me she loved it, and I'm pretty sure she was telling the truth. This January, my fiancé called me up in tears. She'd somehow lost the ring on her way home from work and she had no clue where it might be. I left work early to come help her search, but since she'd been riding the subway, the ring was long gone. My fiancé was clearly distraught, so a few weeks later I dipped into my savings and bought her a different ring. It wasn't quite as expensive as the last, but it was from the same jeweler and still a good make. Around June, I noticed one day that it had been a while since I saw my fiancé actually wear her engagement ring. She went pale and confessed to me that she thought she'd taken it off before bed one night and now it was lost somewhere in our flat. This time we searched for days and I dug up half the floorboards looking for it, but the ring is, to this day, missing. At this point, buying another ring was out of the question. Too expensive, so I asked her if she'd rather either A, have a cheap replacement ring, under $50, until after we're married, or B, go without a ring for now. She chose option B. One day we were visiting my grandmother, who asked my fiancé where her ring was. When we told her it was lost, my grandmother was kind enough to give my fiancé one of her rings instead. My fiancé seemed delighted and everything was working out perfectly until this week. I came home to find my grandmother's ring on the table, looking almost unrecognizable. My fiancé cried and told me that she'd managed to step on the ring that morning hard enough to break it. I took the ring to a jewelry repair service right away. Sadly, they told me that since a few small stones are missing and the original fitting is warped, the ring will never really be the same. They also told me that they were certain someone stepping on the ring couldn't realistically cause this amount of damage. When I got home, I brought this up to my fiancé and asked her if she was 100% sure she'd only stepped on the ring. She completely flipped and yelled at me asking if I was calling her a liar. I mentioned what the jewelry store said, and she started screaming about me only caring about money and the cost of the rings. It's been 2 days and we've barely spoken, especially as she's only coming out of our bedroom for meals. Too long didn't read. My fiancé has lost 2 of her engagement rings and now she's broken a 3rd. When I tried to talk with her about it, she exploded. Any advice on how to handle this? Do you think she sold the previous rings? This seems highly likely to me. Start checking pawn shops for the first 2 rings. Edit, thanks for the award. A jeweler has just told you that damage didn't happen from it being stepped on. They have no incentive to lie to you. Don't let her gaslight you. This is not an accident. I was terrified of losing my ring when I first got it, but that's not really possible unless you take it off. So, I always put it straight in my pocket, for being on the ground and stepping on it. No, she would have to run it over. I'm betting she has an addiction, gambling, shopping, maybe drugs, or high debt and has been selling the rings. The ring is mangled because she used pliers to get the rocks out. The small stones are gone because she sold them. The other rings are gone because she sold them. Brojitfo, she's obviously selling it. Even if she's not selling it, Brojitfo BC, clearly something is going on and it's looking to me like she doesn't want to be engaged to you. I, 21 meters, am emotionally constipated. Today I invited my girlfriend, 20F, to joke slow dance with me. It made her happy cry. I would like to make her feel like that more often. To preface, my girlfriend and I have been dating for 3 years, living with each other for 2.5 in New Zealand. I like to think that we're very happy. While we have our downs, I'm more happy with her than I have ever been. She is always there for me when my depression is too much to handle and never judges or makes me feel weak when I ask for help. The problem lies in my emotional constipation. Like a lot of men, I just find it impossible to get it out, and sometimes I feel like the rain cloud to her sunshine, and I think that gets to her. To get to the crux of the story, today her and I were listening to some music while working on some uni work, when the song Whatever Will Be came on. I heard her softly singing along behind me, and out of nowhere stood up and said, "Come over here a second." We then goofily slow danced in our small room until the song changed. When it did, I looked down at her and she had tears in her eyes while smiling at me. She said I was the sweetest boy she's ever met and wiped her tears before returning to her laptop. I really like it when she feels like this, and while this definitely isn't the first time it's happened, I don't feel like it happens as often as she deserves. I love her and tell her I do every day, but I think actions speak louder than words. What I'm asking for is, what is something unique I could do for her? Maybe some techniques to get my emotions out. I'm just drawing a blank as always. Thank you in advance. Edit: I unfortunately have to go to bed as it is 2 AM my time, but I just want to thank all of you for your help tonight. I've been an avid reader of this sub for quite a while and shot my shot, not expecting to get all that much advice based on my story not being the most dramatic. Sincerely, thank you all so much for your help. The little things that you've all described are going to make her feel so happy. I've actually taped a "I love you" note to the mirror for her to find in the morning as per one of your suggestions. I just honestly can't thank all of you enough. I wish you all the best. Final edit: I didn't expect this to blow up while I was sleeping. Firstly, thank you to everyone who posted a comment to direct messaged me, save for the assholes who said they hoped she got cancer or I faked the whole thing. This has opened a whole avenue of ways for me to more properly understand my own emotions and in turn show her love more easily. For anyone in the comments suffering from a similar situation as mine, I would suggest looking into love languages. Two last things: sorry to anyone I haven't been able to reply to. I really didn't expect to get so many comments. And also, please stop giving awards to me. This is a throwaway account and your money is best spent on yourself, especially now. Have a nice day everyone. Kia kaha. I think what makes her happy is the spontaneous goofy things that you do that make her feel loved. And while you might not think of these things now, I think you'll just come up with really moving ideas that she'll love, just like you did in this post. Something you could try is looking up each other's love languages. You can easily take an online quiz that will tell you what both of you most appreciate to feel loved. The 5 languages are words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. Based on what you have said, I'm guessing your GF likes quality time, but finding which she likes the best can help you get those super happy moments you are looking for, and if she knows yours, it might help you express your emotions better. That sounds like a good idea, but the problem more so stems from some stuff in my childhood. Long story short, quite often I don't know exactly what I am feeling, and until recently, approximately 3 years, go figure, my go-to response was anger. I've worked through this with my girlfriend, but unfortunately I still often draw a blank in the emotions department. I have that problem too. It may be easier to write it down, leave her little notes about why she's great, in random places on random days. Less pressure for you because it's spontaneous, less pressure for her because it's not expected. Yeah, I find it much easier to put things onto paper, or text, must be because of the spontaneous aspect. Thanks for advice. Little things can be but are not limited to singing her favorite song with her, picking her a pretty flower, buying her favorite chocolate/muffin/ice cream. This may sound a little creepy, but just stare at her until she looks at you and then smile at her, holding her hand while going on a walk, random hugs and kisses, snuggles with a movie and popcorn. The list is as big as your imagination, my friend. You really have two questions, one about things to do for her and one about expressing your emotions. I think people feel loved when they receive frequent small gestures that demonstrate you care. Running outside to help her carry in something heavy, tuck her hair behind her ear when her hands are full, take a picture of something interesting and send it to her as a way of connecting when you are not together. Just knowing someone is thinking about you when you are apart or is really seeing you when you are together can make a person feel special. Regarding expressing your emotions, you could go small or big. Big would be writing her a letter for your anniversary telling her how you feel about her. Small could be saying out loud what you are feeling right in that moment. I feel lucky to be with you. Or I really admire the loyalty you show towards your friends. Good luck. That actually helps a lot. I would have never thought to simply take a picture and send it to her. Thank you. Wife's parenting technique is negatively impacting our 5-year-old daughter. My 5-year-old daughter has alopecia. It's an autoimmune disease, for those that don't know, that attacks the hair follicles. Usually hair that falls out doesn't grow back at all, but sometimes it will. It can affect the entire body. My little girl was diagnosed at 2, and has so far only lost hair on her head. There are huge patches on the top of her head that are completely bald now. There's no cure, and her mom and I had decided to avoid the risky treatment options currently available since she's so young. The older she gets, the more aware of her condition she obviously is. She spends a lot of time with her cousins and little girlfriends that are similar ages, and she's mentioned to me countless times that she wishes she had their hair. It breaks my heart as her father. I've taken her to a few playdates, and kids that have never met her always ask about her hair. She parrots off the explanation of the disease to them that her mom has taught her, and then acts shy the rest of the time she's there. At home she has a doll that has different wigs that she loves playing with and changing them. I worry that my wife is not putting our daughter's feelings and concerns first. She made a Facebook post about Alopecia Awareness Month with some pictures of our daughter's hair loss and showed them to her. Our little one got sad seeing the picture, wrestled the back of her head, where the hair loss is worst, and asked if she could get a wig like her dolly. Her mom said absolutely not. You know, you are just as bow today I fucked up as everyone else, and you don't need one. As true as this is, I just want my little girl to feel confident, and bow today I fucked up. My wife believes that the best thing to do about her hair loss is to completely ignore it, and just mention what alopecia is to anyone who asks about her hair. I thought it was a good idea at first because I too want my child to love herself as she is. However, since she has brought these issues up on her own, it changes the way I look at the situation, and if she wants a wig or hats or whatever to feel normal, then I want to do that for her. Kids are also super cruel, and disease or not, I worry that she will eventually be bullied due to this. How can I approach this topic with my wife and show her that this parenting technique is hurting our daughter? So I get what your wife is doing, but your 5-year-old didn't ask to be a crusader for alopecia. She definitely didn't ask for her very personal journey to be broadcast on the World Wide Web. Some kids do have a passion for speaking to social media at a young age. That's not the case here, and I think it's important for your wife to see that. It's a new age thing, but children deserve body anonymity. In my mind, that includes what parents put on social media. Your daughter needs to find the confidence/beauty within herself before being a spokesperson. Other people gave great ideas. Find a support group for children with her condition. Attend some conferences with her and your wife. Get out of your own bubble. Agree. I even mentioned that those were pretty personal pics to post, but my wife sees it differently, like she doesn't want people to think she's ashamed of our daughter's condition. I get what your wife is doing, but I agree it's wrong. I'd wager that she thinks dealing with it in this way will make kiddo tougher and unashamed of her condition. That might work for an adult with a visible condition, but children don't have all the base coping skills to manage the mistreatment from stuff like this. If the kid wants a wig, she should get a wig. If the kid doesn't want a wig, she shouldn't be forced to wear it. It should be all about empowering your daughter and her decisions about her body, not your wife's image. I'd try to explain that to your wife, in a kind way. Honestly, that is probably the best way to get my wife to understand. Thanks. I have a child with arthritis. It started at 2 years old. I think you need to join, if you haven't already, local alopecia groups. The arthritis group has the children meet up once or twice a year. It was a game changer when she was young, to not be the only one. I personally think it's very important to know others with the same thing. Both diseases aren't common, so the national groups are the best way to find others. When she first was diagnosed, neither of us felt like it was necessary to join a group/get therapy, but that was obviously the wrong choice lol. I'll definitely look into one in our area. Truthfully, I think it'll help my wife and I just as much as her. Thank you and good luck your little one as well. My wife has alopecia. She is very comfortable and confident about it, however she wears a hat in public. When she doesn't, she is constantly approached by people who want to offer their sympathies on her non-existent battle with cancer. She got tired of launching into explanations of alopecia, that left people feeling awkward about their mistaken assumption. It can be draining being the center of attention everywhere you go. A wig or hat can offer freedom from unwanted attention. Denying this basic level of privacy is not empowering or creating confidence, it's doing the opposite. Thank you for sharing. I'm sure my daughter gets exhausted explaining her situation as well. I completely agree with your past paragraph. First off, tell your wife to take a good long look at your daughter. Look at her actions, her feelings. She is swapping out wigs on her doll happily in the way she can't herself do. Children project onto their toys because it helps them understand one's own self. She has also asked for wigs. Yes, your daughter is both today I fucked up no matter what, but she is at a young age where her feelings are more vibrant than when she's your wife age. If your wife is so okay having her daughter walk around physically and mentally uncomfortable because of her bald patches, then she can too. She can shave patches off her head and go into work like that. She probably won't. Second, Christmas is right around the corner. You should look into some quality wigs. Something made specifically for children that isn't made from cheap nylon. It'll probably be the gift she appreciates and values the most. Third, I have alopecia areata and it blows. I got diagnosed more recently, so I only have a few small bald patches, but my whole life my hair was what I thought to be my best feature, and when it started coming out I bawled my eyes out. Remember, a clump came out basically overnight and I was devastated. My siblings made fun of me. I had strangers ask me in public what was wrong with me. It was heartbreaking. I can't possibly imagine how a little kid would feel. So ultimately I think you should ignore your wife's wishes and focus on your kid's wishes. When she's an adult, she can decide if she wants to walk around proudly without a wig or keep wearing them. But it should not be up to your wife when it's making your daughter miserable.